Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, one of the things I always think that you must make sure that you don't lose when you come to the Philippines, and that is your sense of how different things are. And depending on how you look at it, it's either magical or it's not. And for some people, it causes them to never stop complaining. For me, I really try to go out, and I don't have to try hard, and I find things to marvel at every day. Well, one of the things, the simple things in my simple life, is that if I go to the store, go to Alturas, and there they have a young man who will be with the cashier, and his job is to pack all of the groceries for you in a bag and make sure that it can be carried, and if necessary somebody will carry it for you. So what's amazing about that, or what's magical about that, is how they pack things. And usually what happens, because I like to have everything in a box, because if I have things in a box it's easy to carry, and if I want to I can put it in the back of the truck and I won't find the groceries around everywhere once I get home. But that's the magical part, is the box. See, so I go in there and I spend about I don't know, 2,000 pesos. Usually I've got it down now so that I kind of I know when I've reached my limit of around 2,000 pesos. So I go with more money obviously than I need, and then I shop for everything. And I'll show you, I think for this particular thing that we bought, or the grocery list that I bought, it came to about 17 or 1800 pesos, 1,800 pesos. So I got a couple of hundred back. But I always go and I say to the boy or to the cashier, may I have a box? And they say, yes sir. And then the boy will pick up a box which I know is far too small to contain and carry everything that I'm taking with me. So I heave an impatient sigh, and I thought, well, we'll soon see, and I'll end up having to take a bag with me, which defeats the object of the box. Well, without exception, I'm always wrong. Okay, without exception, I always feel I know, but without exception, the boy that packs this knows best, and he knows how to make this small box contain everything that I bought. So I'll get my ugly face out of the picture so that you can see better what I bought. And I bought this for about 2,000, change out of 2,000 pesos, about 1,800 pesos. So for your interest, I'll adjust the camera down. You know how humble our cinematography is, so you'll bear with me for a moment. So turn it round and I'll take it down and adjust it there. There we are. Down. So I'm coming down. Now of course you can hear the dogs in the background, can't you? So there's that box that is, as we can see, was far too small, but somehow, of course, let me adjust that. Of course, he ties it, so he doesn't tape anything together, and he types it. I've gone and cut the thing before I thought of making a video. So he puts it all together and he makes it so that you can carry it easily by doubling up the little bit for the handle. So the box is too small. What does he do? He gets another piece of box and he bends it and he makes a little cap for it like this, look. So that's what goes on top. So there. Now everything that I bought is in here and it fits perfectly. It's almost like I took the box with me and only brought home what I could get in the box. Well, let's have a look at what I bought. I got some grapes, which was 119 pesos. I got some quick and easy sweet and sour mix. Sweet and sour, I've never ever seen here in the Philippines anything that said sweet and sour on a packet, and it's powder, so maybe it's going to be the closest that I'll get to sour milk or sour cream. And then I like to have a fair number of weighed and priced bananas. So I got 2 lots of that, which is quite a lot. Okay, now a little bit of luxury for me to have with my brown bread, and that is cream cheese. Now I always get some of these different noodles and people are going to tell me those are not very good for you, and yes, I know, but then at the moment the world is not very good for us, is it? What else? There's another sweet and sour, and I got some cheddar cheese. Okay, what else? Well, I actually was looking for the sponges. These are those little sponges that you get for doing the dishes. Got an abrasive thing on one side there, and then a sponge on the other. And I always buy more than we need because I make sure that Nanai changes the ones that I gave her last time, which are now up for throwing away. So we get those. And before I found, in desperation, I was looking for the sponges and I couldn't find them, so I saw these. These are just a few pesos, so I bought these. And there's one there. I bought 4 of these, two for us and 2 for Nana. What else? Tomatoes. Very difficult to find tomatoes here. I don't know. It just seems like they're firm when I pick them up at Alturas, and by the time I get home, they're already softening up. More noodles. I actually bought 6 packs of noodles. Right, and then I bought this drink, which is probiotic. It's supposed to be very good. Keeps you regular, but we won't go into that, will we? It's supposed to be very good for fibre, and I bought a couple of those. And it's a pleasant drink, so I'm good with that. And I actually like to make sweet corn. Nothing that I cook is eaten by Beth. I don't know what it is. I have a fatal hand when it comes to making anything. So even with something like this, I'll cut this in half and I stick it in this pot here, and just cook it, and then put butter on it, and then a little tiny dusting of salt. Very careful not to put so much on, which spoils it. And then I serve it, and without fail, she does not eat it, but she will love this. So I bought 2 of this, a Choco Chug. Okay, now for me, I know I probably don't need to buy low-fat milk, but it's one of those things, one of those little quirks that people have. So low-fat milk, I think it keeps better. And I got some cornflakes. Now it says, it doesn't say, well it says cornflakes, but these are not, they're not Kellogg's cornflakes, you know. If I show you, they're a weird shape, so who knows what they'll taste like. It says toasted flakes of corn, breakfast cereal, and then something in a foreign language which I don't speak. It says gold cornflakes, and it boasts that they are whole grain, which is probably a downright lie. So I would normally have bought 2 of those packs, but this time, because I'm not sure about it, I'm not going to buy 2, because Beth certainly will not have cereal with milk, even though she loves milk. And I hear that she's just come in because I can hear things dropping all around. Apples. I get lots of apples because I like to use I don't use the juicer. I tried to go back to using the juicer. Here we go. And that's my empty box. Look at that little box. He picked up that little box. How could he get all of that stuff in there? It's just not possible. I'm a carpenter and I know measurements. And yet he did. So here's everything that I got. My 6 packs. Yeah, this is the noodles. 6 pack of noodles is the closest that I will ever get now to a 6 pack, believe me. So that and the apples, not forgetting the cream cheese and the cheddar. The cheddar is under here somewhere. Now Filipinos don't, they seem to be coming closer to liking dairy products, so you can actually get dairy products now. But this, you have to search around to find this, and it says on there, it says cheddar, doesn't it? It says cheddar, and this one, it says cream cheese. Well, cream cheese you can have on toast, and I usually have, the one thing that I've forgotten to get is bread, and what they call brown bread here, they call it wheaten. So this is the closest that you can get to brown bread, which when I used to see all of the different choices, this is from Goldilocks. So there we are. That's the closest that you can get. Now this is the one thing that I miss so much, because I used to have such a selection of beautiful brown bread, but that's it. It's different, but I can live with that. I've grown accustomed to it, so I'm not complaining. But at least I can get this anytime that I want now. So that's something that should stop anybody complaining. But it is wheaten bread. Look, there's the pack on the bottom of the pack. That's what it says. So this will last for a few days. Obviously the Choco Chug, this one here, that's not going to last too long. It might last 2 days. Beth takes the whole thing and she drinks straight from the pack. So what am I looking at? Oh, what are you looking at? So I'm adjusted again. I got my groceries all done up beautifully in my tiny box that of course if I tried if I tried to put everything back in that box, it wouldn't be very successful, believe me, and I would give up. But those boys who pack this stuff do it with such diligence that I'm amazed, and I always make a special point of saying thank you, sir. And so that's my go around Alturas today. And the reason that I was there was because Beth was early morning was picking up with James and Jessica, and their multicab was picking up the 2 remaining poles which we need to be able to connect our street project, our end of the road street project, with electricity. So the poles had to be set in concrete, and they had to be done fairly quickly so that tomorrow they can be connected. And of course they had to go, and they had to have steps welded into them by our friend Nestor, the mechanic, and he'll do something like that. And he did it overnight. We dropped that off. We thought it was going to be ready on Sunday, but it turned out that on Saturday, when he would have been normally doing it, he'd gone to some kind of a party. People don't realise that they can't have a life when we want them to do something. Isn't that always the way? So anyway, thank you, Nestor, for doing that, and thank you to that young man at Alturas who did the beautiful job of packing everything here. So if you come out here and you decide to live in the Philippines, you know, there's a million things, believe me, there's a million things to complain about, but there's so much to be thankful for, especially in this day and age now, the one that we're going through. We are out in what anybody that is Filipino knows as the province. And the province is not a specific place. The province is anywhere in the Philippines which is not in a big built-up city. So you can be in the province even if you live on Cebu, and Cebu City is an absolute mad place. It's what my mother would have called a bloody bedlam. A bedlam. Now look that up in the dictionary. It's in the dictionary. It's a place for the insane, is a bedlam, I believe. Well, anyway, we don't live in a bedlam. We live in between the small town, a port. Nevertheless, it's a port, and it's on the National Highway, and it is about 6 kilometers to the left when we go down to the National Highway, which we call 20 Steps. Now, we call that place where our road is, we call it the 20 Steps because I have this compulsion to give a name to everything, so everything gets a name. Now right there's a small chapel, and it's on the hill, so as you go down there and you reach the road, to your left are 20 steps, and they lead up to this tiny chapel. I think actually it might be a tiny church for the Catholic, the Roman Catholic faith, or it might be a chapel of rest. I've never took those 20 steps. Well, why would I? Never walked up there to have a look, but I think it might be a chapel of rest. And then if we turn to the right on the National Highway, I think we have, what's the official? I think the official is 18 or 20 kilometers, which takes us to Talabon. And Talabon is that teeming metropolis which has one set of traffic lights, and the reason it has one set of traffic lights is that that's about the only place that they could put a set of traffic lights, is the crossroads where you turn left and it takes you into the town, such as it is, or you can turn right and that would take you to Trinidad and Ubai and all places on. It's not very complicated. There's very little of a road in and a road out. So it's one of those things that very easy to direct people. Well, we live in the mountains of Burgos, and they call them mountains because in order to be designated a mountain, you have to be at a certain altitude, and we are at that certain altitude. But actually it really looks like we are in the middle of hundreds of square miles in any direction of beautiful rolling hills. So there's no north face of Everest with snow on it. If you're looking for that kind of mountains, they don't exist. Actually, we live in countryside, which for a hiker is pure heaven. We often thought that maybe one of the things that we should do would be to set up a kind of simple life sanctuary for people who just want to get away from everything, where they're willing to give up the luxuries and conveniences of the busy life to come and just not wake up stressed. Here, I wake up in the morning and I come down, and the first thing when I get to the bottom of the stairs is out the back of the house is a line of windows, and the line of windows is where we have our breakfast bar, and we can sit at the breakfast bar after making our coffee or tea or cornflakes, if they are really cornflakes, and we can look out onto these rolling hills. And sometimes, which is always magical to me, we might see a carabao just down below the windows, eating probably the flowers that Beth has planted. Alright, so I guess this video is about not losing the magic. I went recently to a birthday party of our friend Michael. Michael and Bonnie live in a place called Zamora, and Michael had a party for his, let me see, I think it was 72nd birthday. In other words, he's just a kid really, I mean, just 72. I mean, I remember a long time ago when I was 72. Well, enough waffling from me. Thank you for listening. Hope this was an education to you. First, about what you can buy for 1,700 or 800 pesos and how you can get it into such a tiny box. Bye for now.